Now, staying with our focus on femicide as well as gender-based violence, we look at what role tradition as well as cultural beliefs and practices play in how women and girls are treated. Are boys and men socialized to mistreat women and girls? For more on this, I'm joined now by cultural expert and scholar Musa Khoza, who's joining us from our Durban studios. Musa, thanks all for joining us this afternoon. Really the question around patriarchy, which continues to persist in society, particularly in the South African context. One may ask, when does it become a fact where enough is enough and men step up and step in to amend the situation?
In my view, this situation that we're facing now requires a cultural intervention, because if you look at the olden days, the culture said, your child is mine, my child is yours. So kids were raised by the community. But now, after post-colonial wars, we are experiencing the mind your own business mentality. So this is why things are like this. With the current issue of the femicide, I think we haven't done enough. We always wait for an incident to take place, and then we all of a sudden begin to talk about this as a problem. And watching this, you'll see after 2 weeks we will be quiet about it. I think this particular situation requires a cultural intervention. We need ourselves in order to solve this particular problem.
Musa, you speak about a cultural intervention. Exactly what kind of a cultural intervention are we talking here? We're saying that boys need to gather together around men who will then be able to be re-educated, and I'm using that word, re-educated, in how to treat women or how to live with women, which should not necessarily be rocket science, wouldn't you say?
Growing up, I've experienced Ubuntu in a true sense. When you're looking at a girl who is your neighbor, you look at her as your sister. You look at her as someone that can advise you even if you are looking for a girlfriend. So that's what culture said to us. I remember growing up, when you are in a party, you know, we would sing and dance until 3 a.m. and later accompany these other ladies to their homes. Not even one woman was raped then. So now, with the modernity in our lives, we have lost so much in terms of who we are and the values. Because in our culture, your child is mine, my child is yours. So now we look at people victimizing one another, even in town. We just pass by. So when I say we need a cultural intervention, I am looking at the churches. They are all over the country. But ask yourself, what difference are they making? Because there is no change. You look at Izangoma, they are all over the country. What difference are they making? So all I'm saying, I think the knowledge of who we are, irrespective of everyone in the community, protecting our young kids, protecting women, was the order of the day when we speak of a culture. So this mind your own business mentality in the modern day, I think that's what is killing us.
And then how then do you start having those conversations with young men, especially, and even boys, really, about where we are as a society, about how to live with women and about how to love their women? Because I think that this is not even about living together, it's about how to love one another and bringing in that aspect of Ubuntu, that a woman is somebody that you protect and love and care for, as opposed to somebody that could be a threat to you and kill.
I think it has to start with artists. When they write music, they need to write things that are building the community. But when you look at the videos, you see naked women, it's all about showcasing a woman's body. Again, the movie makers, people who are in television, they need to start writing about things that uphold our values. The major problem that we are facing today, these different ceremonies that are being performed as rituals, umemulo, umhlonyane, when a woman is growing up, it's still practiced today, but what is being practiced in a young man? Nothing. You are busy preparing this amazing woman to become the future of a village or of the country, a good mother in future. But what are we doing for males? We are preparing these beautiful ladies for rapists. So I think it has to begin at an early stage, teaching young boys how to become a man. What does it mean being a man? And being a man does not mean superiority over a woman. It means being able to meet the responsibilities of the family, of the community, being a good example in a community. So now, with all the modernity and the confusion that we have within democracy, we have lost a lot in terms of our cultural values. Hence I say this situation requires a cultural intervention, in a sense that when you know who you are, we will be able to respect ourselves. But we have no respect for ourselves. Everything is about money. Even with this situation, all the NGOs and the organizations are going to come up, but just to be seen. And after a few weeks, what will happen? They will keep quiet, and other things are continuing to happen behind closed doors. I think communities, they need more awareness about women abuse, rape, and all this evilness that is happening to our women. We need to talk about it now and on daily basis. We should not wait for 16 days of activism. It should be a daily thing.
Musa, I mean, you and I can speak the entire day about this issue. In fact, you're having such frank points that you're mentioning there, robust points, in fact, around how is it that we can perhaps reconfigure society so that indeed we start putting ourselves at the forefront of it and start protecting one another. But we're going to have to leave our conversation there for the sake of time. But Musa Khoza giving us the cultural perspective in terms of exactly what is perpetuating femicide in our society, and how then do we start going back into those cultural norms, speaking about Ubuntu being the pinnacle of it all, but still